the golden rule, ile do unto others what you want them to do unto you. I feel ni kama hii, it's actually at the heart of this whole concept of social awareness, because it feels like we live in a time where people want to be understood, but they don't want to understand. Really.
Yeah, which is a conundrum. It's really quite a conundrum.
Yeah. Unapata, you might also live in the same sort of, call it a town, or the same city, doing the same job with someone. Lakini how people perceive realities, it's totally different. I remember, I think, sijui last week, but one, the place where I shave, my barber. Kimskize, you're like, really? So unapata their reality.
His reality is so different.
You're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I want to mention something quite controversial. I think the whole thing about protests, and there's another word you seem filtered in it. It's a form of, is it go slows and whatever. I don't know. What's normally the logic behind them? Why should people protest? I'm not saying it's not important or anything like it, but what's really the logic behind them? No, those are the kinds of questions that I try asking myself in view of the society, and stepping outside from your own reality and trying to perceive other people's reality. It's something that I'm not sure how to have a grip of it, but it feels nikitu too. I don't know. So I would talk to me a little bit about your understanding of what social awareness is all about.
All right, thanks, Alex. The interesting thing, I heard you say the golden rule.
Yeah.
Do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. One of the ones I've come to really enjoy and appreciate, listen to, is the platinum rule, which is do.
There's actually a platinum rule.
There's a platinum rule.
Haikosi kuna a silver rule. A diamond rule.
And the platinum rule is do unto others what they would like to be done unto them. Not what I would like. You see, I can do unto Alex as I would like Alex to do unto me.
Yes.
But now platinum, which is the level above, is I do unto you, Alex, as you, Alex, would like to be done to. In other words, I need to understand what matters for Alex. Not what I think is important for me. Right? Okay. And obviously, I remember we spoke about this particular installment, picking up from the last time, around emotional intelligence and leadership. It's going a notch above, because obviously when it comes to leadership, it's about taking care of people.
Yes.
You could be technically good, which is great. You got the promotions, you got the title, you got the office, because you're great at doing that job. But now your job is not just doing the job. Your job is to support other people, empower other people, coach other people, inspire other people to be able to do a job as well as you did. So technically, the funny thing about leadership is that when you succeed and you're promoted, you stop needing to do, or stop being needed to do what made you become a leader. It's a very big oxymoron that you succeed, you do so well at something, you're promoted, you get awards, recognition, blah blah blah, and then now they tell you, now Alex, we want you to take care of these people, which is a completely different skill set from what you've been doing. So for instance, if you are a credit control person, you are good at appraising credit or appraising the situation and advising the business. You are constantly doing reports on time. You're so good at that technical element. Then you're made to be the team leader, and then now all of a sudden you have all these people under you who are just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
And your job is not to do the thing which you love doing, the credit analysis. Is to take care of the people who do that work, the credit analysis. Then now it's like you get a promotion. I guess the way when you go to high school, you are in class 8. Well, now the system is different.
Yeah.
Or grade 9 now. And you go to the lowest grade in the next level. You don't go to the top level. So in other words, when you go to Form 1, you're literally now the lowest level of a new.
Yeah.
You've unlocked a new level, but you start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Again. And the sad thing is that sometimes people don't understand that you get into the next level, you expect you'll be at the top of it.
Sure.
And there's quite a learning curve. So to speak to what you've shared, the reason why people go up in arms or sometimes down their tools and act in a certain way is because they don't feel what matters. And it's funny, as we speak at the moment, we have, different professional unions having down their tools. And they have have said they will not return to work until A, B, C, D, E, which of course is on a national scale. But even on a smaller scale, we have in organizations and we have in certain industries moments like those where people say we cannot continue under these conditions, right? Yeah. And so for me, Alex, my response is the reason people do what they do and legally within the bounds of what is allowed is because they feel that the whoever is in control or authority is not necessarily listening to their concerns, and they don't feel like their needs are being met. And that's where the platinum rule comes in.
Wow. And why do you think things like go-slows or protests zinakuanga na any effect in trying to make these leaders sort of listen? Do you think it has any impact?
Absolutely. And many of these are within the Constitution. The right to actually demonstrate, the right to actually express dissatisfaction. And that in a way that you'd want things to be different. That is actually very healthy and is necessary. So I think I'm answering the question whether it should be done. I think the answer is yes. Within the law, within the bounds of what is allowed, it should be done. And I usually say for many leaders who have been able, especially leaders of talent, leaders of HR, who have been able to, I feel like many of the seasoned HR leaders I know have been able to develop their stripes and develop their skin in the game by being able to do what they call CBAs, that's collective bargaining agreements, where you find you have either in, let's say, aviation industry, you have pilots, or of course you have teachers and whatnot, different industries where you find doctors, whether it's the private sector or public sector, and other professionals, being able to get them to what we call a win-win. It actually is about negotiation. And the truth be told, some of these things may never change until we get to the table to negotiate. And so what I would say, and I imagine, inspires those type of actions is a desire to see people go to the table, come to the table, to negotiate, to discuss, and to look for what we call a win-win, a win for both parties.
A common ground.
A common ground, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And, I'm even asking a much deeper question. Like, why do they need to happen in the first place? Do you want to tell me that demonstrations and protests are the only, because it seems Nikamando the only way to get leaders to listen, such that they party a certain structure within the confines of the Constitution? I
wouldn't say it's the only way. I think it's just one of the ways. And if you say it's the only way, then it would mean that if we don't participate, because not everybody participates in it, you're not playing your part. The truth be told, there's a lot of many avenues for individuals to be able to express, to be able to influence. We talk about advocacy. Advocacy is big, and that's in the development world. We talk about also lobbying, which also happens, in certain political circles where we're able to sort of like influence certain policies and legislation. We have public participation. There are so many other avenues where it's possible. I would say the biggest issue is that for many people, there's one, lack of awareness. That's knowledge. And also, perhaps information has also not been shared as it should be shared. But there are many other places you can express. I think we're talking about the most overt. So I think the civil action, the political, whatever, is very overt. And we see it. It's all over the place. But there are other subtle ways of making your feelings known.
Okay. So in the last 2 episodes, we've been on about emotional awareness, how that process could start. So, and now speaking about social awareness, how could you start that kind of a conversation? What is it exactly?
Thanks for that, Alex. So social awareness is really just the understanding and appreciation, and of course there's a quite close correlation between this and leadership of the people who you have around you. In other words, when you have people in a team in a community, in a whatever people group it is, you need to be able for you to be a highly social aware person. You have a level of appreciation of the other people, whether it's in a meeting setting or whether it's in any social whatever engagement, how they're doing. The people who sometimes are quite quiet. You are communicating about certain things, it's a shared experience, but their responses or the engagement is not really as you would have expected. We like to call it reading the room. The room. In fact, sometimes we say it's like some people don't have the ability to read the room, because you can read a room and get the vibe, get the feeling, vibe. And that's also very useful in sales, but in commercial teams and sales, because when you're doing a presentation or a pitch, sometimes it's not what people say, it's what people don't say. And so social awareness is a skill that helps you, or a facet of emotional intelligence that helps you be able to read people, read the mood, read the tone, just get a feel of what's going on. And of course, are we really together, or are we really not moving together in whatever it is you're trying to communicate?
Okay. Wow. You've said that it's closely tied to leadership.
Absolutely. You see, the thing about leadership is influence. John Maxwell says leadership is influence. What that basically means is that influence, is really trying to get people to do things you need to see done, and it's doing them through people. And how do you do them through people? You have to get the people you're with to buy you, or to buy what you're selling. To not just buy it because you're the leader and you've said they must do it, but to buy it because they are compelled, they are convicted, they are excited about what you're proposing to them, and they want to do it. And so, as a leader, it's a very important skill to be able to pick up on those cues when you realize people are not buying it. Very people would say yes because you're the leader, or yes because they're expected to say yes, but they're not really buying it. And sometimes also it's not just about you speaking. Sometimes it's also about what people around you say. So it's a two-way street. You need to speak, and speak with conviction, speak with clarity, but also sometimes you just need to let people speak, other people speak, and then you listen.
Sure.
So social awareness is a function of how much you're able to pick up on the cues of people you're with. In terms of, we say we're going to do this thing, we say we're going this way, are we really together? Are we moving together? Is there a disconnect?
Wow. Now let me paint a certain picture. So we've had vile skumbuki who exactly ni nani, but I think so you find that there's a team who sort of hold a certain set of beliefs that are very contrary to their leaders. The notion that unapata a majority might be wrong, now one person might be right. Have you seen such scenarios?
It's quite common. And are you talking about, in this case, the vast majority of the people who are on the team, and then the leader? So it's the leader on one side and the team on the other side.
So actually, it's about now the people themselves, the majority. As a coach, you might say that maybe they are wrong. Some of the kinds of beliefs they are having, ni zile zenye they truly do not align with maybe the purpose, some of the grand scheme of things within that organization. But so you're able to tell that, so the team is like that, but the leader anatry kuwaonyesha ama anatry to even set systems in place, but they're just met with a lot of resistance.
Okay, I think what I'll say, I think your choice of description is quite apt when you talk about one side. You have the team, then you have the leader. And even without necessarily belaboring the point that they are wrong and he's right, or they are wrong and she's right, the principle is these people must move. The Bible says that two cannot walk together unless they agree.
Yeah.
And if the leader is the custodian of the strategy or of the key imperatives or drivers that we're going to push along as a team, and indeed they are within their rights, then it means that these people need to find a way, or not just the people, including the leader, need to find a way to collectively move together. We need to find a way. That's clear.
Okay.
Now, with that said, the question then, of course, becomes, what is the state of the relationships in this team? And by the way, the fourth aspect is relationship management. So of course we talked about self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and then the fourth is relationship management. I usually say how these type of situations play out is significantly dependent on the state of relationships. I think the last time I was on here, we talked about, not the last time, but the other time, the first time I was on here, we talked about the right to speak into situations. You have to earn the right. Who am I? It's one thing to say something, but it's also another thing to be the person who I am, that I have built myself to be, and how that impacts the weight of what I say. And so for leaders, the biggest issue is to actually support them to be able to earn and maintain the right to be able to speak, to be able to call on people, to be able to rally an organization or team towards a certain cause. So you must have the right. And of course, close to right is relationships. You must have the relationships. And by the way, John Maxwell, who's of course a famous leadership guru, has done many key concepts. And one of the big ones in his book, 5 Levels of Leadership, he talks about the 5 levels, and every level has an R. So every person who is a leader is first and foremost a leader, especially those with titles, formal titles in organizations, by right. So the first R is right. I have the right
to be a leader.
Because I was given a contract, I was given a job description, I am that guy. I have the right. So you guys need to follow me because ni mimi nimesema. But then of course, going beyond that, and everybody does follow you because they have a right, up to when their contractual obligation expires. Or rather, my contract, or even I'm required here from 8 to 5 p.m. After that time, that legally there's nothing I have done to not meet my requirement, I'm out. You get what I'm talking about? Versus people who will not stop until the job is done. So the disconnect between people who lead through their right, I'm a right, it's my right that you listen to me, it's my right you listen to me, versus those who lead beyond right is people giving their bare minimum. Versus people going over and above. Right? Second thing is now relationships. So when it comes to relationships, you have to do the work. Relationships are work.
They are. A lot of work.
Lots of work. It's we like to, in fact, someone told me the other day, I found it very interesting, that statement, that you need to invest in relationships. So like when you go to maybe church or some other social spaces and you find somebody selling something, people that raise the young children or high schoolers, they bake. So people, I've seen now what's coming is bracelets are becoming very popular. The people who have become authors, they have books. And someone once told me, I found it so apt, that I need to buy this from this person. And I'm doing it because I'm investing in I don't even need this thing. Does that make sense? I don't really even need whatever they're selling, despitely. Or I can get it far much cheaper somewhere else. But I'm going to buy from Alex. Alex is grade 3. They have done some baking for the camp. I'm going to make sure I support or I sponsor, or they are working for that work to gain. I must do it. Obviously, it's a good thing to do. And they will be happy that I have spent money. But I'm consciously investing in the relationship. So I found it as a very interesting concept. The relationships they're not cheap. And they're definitely, I dare say, not free. They cost something.
It's transactional.
To some level, it's transactional. They cost something. It's either they cost something to start or they cost something to sustain. And so that's one of the things that we often lose out on. It's not free. Where, in fact, the Bible says where your heart is, your treasure is. It's not free. And that also is about time, intentionality, and your money.
It's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, they're not free, they're not cheap. And as a leader, your default setting that you can always fall back to is, I'm the boss. Do what I've said. Nimesema.
Nimesema. Kama si hivi, you go.
And that's where many people's leadership caps. It caps there.
Because I found myself in such.
Because I said so. And the leadership for many people caps there. But when you choose to actually invest, and by the way, it's not because you're mandated. Many people are not bound by their job description or by their KPI, that it's a goal that you must have relationships. But the interesting thing is they influence those actually measurable goals. So you have measurable goals which are affected by the other unmeasurable. So you see why emotional intelligence is just a whole landscape, And so the key thing to do is then, of course, choose to invest in a relationship. Know people, not just for the sake of I know this person. And there are people who, unfortunately, I think maybe we're laughing about it, who actually invest in relationships or try to get to know people in a very superficial way. You know, because I see you as from a certain community or from this, I try and make some banter around that.
Yeah, and that's very, very common.
You know, and to be honest, the funny thing is there are people who do it and get away with it, but the real relationship building is on deep, genuine interest. I'm interested in knowing you, who you are. I'm interested in knowing what your biggest challenges have been. I'm interested in knowing your story. How did you get to where you are today? I'm interested in knowing your dreams. What do you need, or what are you trying to achieve? You know, and what does that hurdle look like? So that when I meet you next month or next year, and you've been able to move from this point to this significant point, you've been able to clear a hurdle. You're going to sit an exam. There's certain course you're trying to do. There's something you're trying to purchase. I can celebrate with you, and I'm not celebrating with you from a place of, yeah, happy for you, but I'm actually celebrating because I know how hard it has been to get that degree, you know, or to get that other course, or to actually finally secure that funding. And so it's really listening to people and getting to connect with people and understanding what really matters to them and why it matters, and then joining with them in positive vibes and positive, you know, thoughts and prayers and hopes towards that becoming a reality.
Wow.
And that doesn't stop with the person. People have children who are now sitting exams.
Yeah.
People have, you know, family members, aging parents. There are all sorts of things. So when you talk about a simple conversation with a colleague, how was your weekend, presents a myriad of opportunities to build relationships. Because how was your weekend, if that person is safe and comfortable enough to speak about some of the things going on that excite them, you know, remember, that make them sad, angry, scared, happy, excited, whatever it is. And you can really listen in and track it back to what they said last month. And next month you circle back. There exists very fertile ground for building a relationship. And this person starts to realize my leader actually cares, because they have details. They know the names of my children. They know what grades they are in. They know the thing they like to do for fun over the weekend. They know the drama that happened last month with my younger one, you know, when they fell off the bike. They can't know everything about your life, but there are things that matter enough for you to talk about them with your colleagues.
Sure.
They know there's a play coming up, or there's a charity walk, and they even contributed something. So those are the things that really make all the difference. And I can tell you for a fact, there are leaders who are respected beyond what is required. I think we look at it in football teams. Maxwell will talk about the highest level of respect you can get as a leader is one where, you know, you're like, you've seen like the teams that like win like the Champions League or NBA finals or the World Cup. It's a high award, high celebration, and you know, they lift up the trophy. There's whether it's a champagne or whatever it is, they do all the crazy stuff, the fireworks. But one of the major things that major teams do when they have a major win is they take their coach, and most of the time they throw them head above their heads. And it's such a high level of admiration that we have, you know, we honor you. We're here because of you. And that doesn't happen for people who have been, you know, condescending to, you know, emotionally abusing, because there are many leaders who are emotionally abused. And obviously in the corporate context, if you talk about the corporate context, we don't get those Champions League final moments or your NBA final, World Cup final moments. But there are some moments organizations achieve, you know, or there are moments or there are things that milestones are achieved that even for that organization, like we are now there. And so even if they will not take the CEO and throw him head over shoulders, you know, physically, but you can tell the level of admiration, the level of respect that that person commands, the level of love. And we have some who, may their souls rest in peace, who have actually rested. I think top of my mind would be someone like Bob Collymore, who you see people deeply loved and deeply grieved their loss, you know.
The late Charlie Kirk as well.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And so that's what happens, that you find you've gone beyond. But I can tell you one of the major foundations for that leadership that gets people to do what you want is relationships. Relationships.
Wow. George, how was your weekend?
I love that, and thanks for asking.
What was the most interesting thing about your weekend?
What happened this weekend? Wow. I mean, I got to spend time with my family. We got to spend time, a very meaningful time. We had a very deep conversation, and of course, there are a couple of things that are happening, transitions, and we got to speak about those transitions, and there'll be some adjustments that need to be made. And it's funny because that's not a conversation we could have just had in the house. So we got to go out. It's so funny because somewhere I've never been in my entire life. It's not like a 5 or 7 star resort. It's not outside of a city. It's just within. We just came from church and we're like, let's check this place out. And it's ironic. All my years, I've never been there. And I won't say where. People judge me.
Okay.
And it was so
we
simple.
Listen, but we don't judge.
You know. And we had a great time. Well, they're animals. They're the animals and nature and whatnot.
Okay.
And we had a nice picnic, and we just, there were different activities, but we just spoke. We spoke, and we connected very deeply. That meant a lot for me.
Wow.
Yeah, that meant a lot for me.
I am so sure that you've mentioned something to do with intentionality.
Yes.
Like being very heavily invested in relationships. Yeah?
Yes.
So how does that look like with your kids?
Well,
how are you intentional in maybe how they grow and stuff?
You know
like
what?
that?
It gets real, and thanks for sharing that, Alex. Because when I speak about corporate leadership and what it needs to be an effective leader, it's very easy to, because I have it here. I live it. I speak with people all the time. I coach them. I support them.
Yeah.
When it comes home, it gets real. And when I say it gets real, is because even the preachers and bishops, and all the spiritual authorities, really, one of the greatest trials is actually on the home front.
The home front.
On the home front, it's where you find your leadership is greatest tested.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm not going to even, the biggest disclaimer I should say at this point, I'm not the biggest or the best authority, or I'm not the model parent, so to speak. And I think no one is really.
Yeah.
But you just have to choose to get up every day and be present and just engage. And it's funny because, like, when I live here, I'm going straight to actually pick up my kids. Yeah, and we're going to spend some time together. Yes. And I guess we can let the cat out of the bag. It's a Monday. I don't know if it'll be a Monday when you post this. And so we go for Bible study together.
Oh, wow.
We go for Bible study together, and we just chat and talk. Children have an interesting way of being when you're just going through life's mundane things. It's not in those days when you go to that nice fun place, and you have, whether it's the jumping castles or rides, like at the malls, the big rides,
Clowns.
the clowns and all those fun things at birthday parties. Those are great, right? And the beach destinations and whatever. It's in those random days when you're in traffic, and you're coming from school, or you're going to school, and someone just says something, and if you really listen in, of course, sometimes we're all guilty of, sometimes we are on our phone, or we are doing something, or you're focusing on the road. But yes, it's in those mundane moments that now life really happens, and people say what's going on. And so for children, of course, the love is spelled TIME. That's the spelling of love. Time. Yeah. And so what has been the biggest battle is to consciously carve out time, and ensure we're able to just be without an agenda. Just be. Go eat something, go run around in some park or something. Just be. And that's when now katikati. And of course also that also involves going for their activities. There are lots of school activities. Just being there and just
means a lot to them.
Means a world, yeah. And I must say, what a father needs to do is very different from what a mother needs to do. It's also very important to have a distinction.
What do you mean?
The needs of a child of a mother are very different from the needs of a child from a father. Sometimes we don't realize that. And as a man, you should not try and be the mother or do what the mother does for them. They don't even expect
what does the mother do that a father shouldn't do?
And vice versa, without going to the details. And a woman, much as I know we have a major issue where many children or many ladies are raising their children alone, you shouldn't try and do. I know there's circumstances that make people have to be there, baba and mama. But if to the best of your ability, and if you can be able to get support, it's important to ensure what a child needs from a male figure, from a man, provide it from that. And what they need from you as a mother, be a mother. Similarly as a father, don't try and undo or replace the mother. Be the father. And fathers, what does a father do? Men are about giving safety and giving adventure. We are about adventure because we hunt, we go out, we take over the world, we cover ground, territory. We explore, we take over ground, we are fearless, we dominate, even whether it's about, we're given power and dominion over this earth. Even about, you've seen even animals respond to our gender, different across to gender.
Sure.
So you're a protector as a man, and you're an adventurer, you're a progenitor. You're supposed to help your people go forward and have the courage to go where they've never been able to go. And also just to affirm that it's okay. Children usually look back at their father when they're doing crazy things. And if they're not reacting, they keep going. Like especially when you're outdoors and something.
Yeah.
And of course, naturally as mothers, because they are nurturers, we are mothers and nurturers, it's to care. And so it's sometimes almost the opposite.
Side of it.
There's the emotional side of it and the gentle side of it, but also the opposite of taking on the world and the adventure and the courage. It's be careful. Oh, don't that. And there's a place for that. So do you understand there's some very subtle differences between the leadership of a father and the leadership of a mother?
Sure.
Or rather the care of a mother and the support of a father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And trying not to. And simply also you see when a boy, and of course the story goes even about how fathers parent boys versus how fathers parent girls. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
And when a boy falls off from a tree, he's like, hey, get up. If he will stop, if he depends on how high the tree is and how small the child is. Like, just yourself.
Msimuangalia asilie. Yeah, seen that.
Like, hey, good job. Can you do it again? And the child is so dazed. Versus the mother who is, and you're almost holding back the mother, relax. He's fine, So those are the things that I think, but the bottom line is to be there, and just to connect. I'll tell you something which I think applies to parenting and children and family, and also relationships.
Okay.
Even romantic relationships. It's a free trip. Real conversation only begins after 2 hours.
Sorry?
Real conversation, the real issues, 2 hours plus. You need at least 2 hours to get to the real issues. Everything before 2 hours
doesn't matter.
No, it matters.
Okay,
it's different
matters,
things, but the real deal. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
Even you and I, we've been sitting in this space for a while. So if you really think about where we are now, the depth really comes in. So the problem is sometimes people just do an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I'm out.
Sure.
So sometimes it's not even about, you have to be there long enough to go over the different things, and it's not like on a clock. And then somewhere along the way, someone will say, last week, this thing happened at school and I needed this and I was so hurt. It didn't come out the first 30 minutes. Similarly, on the work front, I've seen teams which we have amazing culture. They do koroga. In fact, koroga is like the best thing ever, because to actually prepare a meal together.
Sure.
Na kutoana rangi, how are you cutting those onions? And I'm talking about like very senior executives and leaders in organizations. But actually be able to prepare a meal together. Leave alone, it's good to go have a meal together, which is still good. There's a lot of bonding. You go for drinks, play a sport together, but to prepare a meal together, and let I've seen a CEO songaing ugali, and people are like, yeah, but we were eating ugali made by the CEO, and people take photos and they just completely.
It was very bad. Just saying.
And can you imagine the memories that are made? But not just the memories, the permission. I'm giving you permission to see me as a human being. I'm giving you permission to see me as a human being. And as we do that, we can talk about the real issues. Forget about the things we do on our emails, KPI, CFA, FYI, COB.
Please refer to.
We get real, And that's what every human being needs, human-to-human connection. Let's just get real. And so when we talk about relationship and leadership and, of course, self and other social awareness, that's where the work is. Sure. But many people choose not to walk that path. Many people choose not to walk that path and miss a huge opportunity. When you hear people say, when you go for funerals and you hear someone say, this guy changed my life, the man who lies here, he's like a father to me.
Yeah.
I would not be the person I am today were it not for them. But this lady gave me a chance. And you hear the person saying that they're like a top CEO. In fact, the person maybe is not even that well known. They were like a manager somewhere. So when I started my career, they saw me and they saw the potential in me and they gave me a chance.
Sure.
I would not be the man I am today. I would not be the woman I am today. Why not? That's now where the real work comes in.
But actually appreciating each other from time to time, there's this thing that What will complain that the best things are normally said of people wakizikwa, but from time to time, to time, charity begins at home. I think so. It's true also for leadership.
Absolutely,
leadership starts at home.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to have it, a firm grip on it, but you work to it.
What do you think people normally mean, especially men? What do you think men really mean wakisema ati they shouldn't show their family tears? Hawafai kuonyesha how probably broken they are, or how vulnerable pia they are. I think that's the kind of environment that most of us have been
socialized in.
What do you think about that kind of perspective?
I don't subscribe to it. Of course, you do need to show strength. And remember, your work is to support, encourage. You're a pillar. But showing emotion doesn't make you weak.
Okay.
And it's different levels. I don't know what it was like for you growing up, but I remember, I think I was like 13 when my father first hugged me. And because he was traveling.
When your dad hugged you?
Yes, hugged me. And it was so confusing.
It's never happened.
It was so confusing, I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? My system was completely disoriented. And that's the thing. Was it wrong? No.
It wasn't.
In fact, it was late. But I don't even blame him, because obviously the system he came up in was different. Do I hug my kids all the time? Maybe too much. But they don't lack that. They don't lack that. We can deal with other issues, but they know I love them and I express it deeply. I think they're still young, and I look forward to, as they grow older, I think it's important to put a face even on children, even parents, as you grow older. Life is hard. At times people, you're going through it. We're going through it at work. You could be in between jobs. You're busy, may not be doing well. I've heard from a couple of people saying that it's very important not to be careful with your parents, aging parents. You can't go and just talk about how bad things are. I've heard people say that. Like, I think parents, especially when you're sandwiched, you have younger family members and you have older parents. You see, you're in that space in life. The middle age is a space in life where people are looking to you. So first your children expect you and the family expects you to take care of them. And the older people sometimes expect that as well.
Yeah.
And so much as, in fact, sometimes I think it's good to just give the high level. Pray. Of course, everybody knows the situation that's going on. Things are not easy. But there are times that you have to apply wisdom, I'd say. There are things you can share that cannot be handled very well. The other party may have a difficult time processing that information. Whether it's the younger or the very older. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not for not showing emotions and not showing vulnerability, but I'm also about wisdom. You need to exercise wisdom when you choose to share certain things.
Okay.
You do have to exercise wisdom, and we also talk about sharing information at an age appropriate, in an age appropriate way. There's some things that a 9-year-old or 8-year-old or 6-year-old may not be ready to or able to deal with, but you can break it down at their level.
Okay.
But I'm all about vulnerability, authenticity. Yeah, it's important to be true.
It's human, even. It's
Absolutely.
human. Wow. All right. George, let's take a break.